Okay, so these first 6 problems, you are going to be evaluating the discriminant, and you're going to tell me how many real solutions we're going to have. Okay, so remember our discriminant is the part that's underneath the square root, so that's the b squared minus 4ac part. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to identify our a, b's, and c's first of each problem, and then we can plug those into our formula and figure out our discriminant and number of solutions. So right here, my a value is 1, my b value is 3, and my c value is 11. So my discriminant is b squared, so 3 squared minus 4ac. And if I plug this whole thing in the calculator, I get that my discriminant equals negative 35. And whenever my discriminant is negative, that means there's going to be no solution. Okay, moving on, number 2. Number 2, my a value is 1 in front of that x squared. My b value, positive 7. My c value is negative 5. So b squared is 7 squared minus 4ac. And if I plug that all in the calculator, my discriminant is equal to 69. And then that means if it is positive, this is a positive number, I'm going to have 2 solutions. Moving on, number 3. Number 3, my a value is 9, b value is 12, c value is 4. If I plug this in to the calculator, I'm doing b squared minus 4, a is 9, and c is 4. And we should get that my discriminant is equal to 0, and if it's equal to 0, we're going to have 1 solution. Number 4. I've got my a value is 2, b value is 4, c value is 2. We should get that the discriminant is equal to 0, which means there is 1 solution. Okay. Number 5, your a value is negative 3, b value is negative 8, c value is negative 4 is your b value, and your c value is negative 8. So when you plug that in the calculator, you should get, for your discriminant, using your formula of b squared minus 4ac, your discriminant is going to be negative 80, which is no solution because it is a negative number. Lastly, number 6, every other problem has been equal to 0. This is the only problem that is not equal to 0. It's equal to 3. So first thing I need to do is subtract 3 from both sides to get it equal to 0 to find my a, b's, and c's. So I'll have x squared plus 7x. And then we're going to combine these two together. Negative 10 minus 3 would give me negative 13. That equals 0. So now your a value is 1, your b value is 7, and your c value is negative 13. These are the numbers you're going to use, not the numbers up above from your first problem, because it has to be equal to 0 first. So I'll get 7 squared minus 4ac, and your c is negative. Make sure you're plugging that in as a negative symbol on your calculator, and this is a subtraction. And we get that our discriminant equals 101, which tells us there are going to be 2 solutions. Now these next 4 problems, we're going to be solving it by finding the square root of each problem, and we're going to round to the nearest hundredths. That means 2 decimal places. So for these problems, we are going to isolate this x squared term, and then we're going to take the square root of it to find what x equals. So I'm going to first start by adding 196 to both sides. And then I get that x squared equals 196. And to get rid of that little 2, we're going to take the square root of both sides. And when I take the square root, I end up with 2 answers of positive and negative 14. So I can either write it like this, or we can write x equals 14 and x equals negative 14. Okay, number 8. Number 8, again, we're isolating the x squared term. So I want to get this x squared part by itself. So that means I first have to get rid of this 4. So I need to divide by 4 on both sides. And when I do that, I get x squared equals 6.25. And then to get rid of this little 2, we're going to take the square root of both sides, and we get that x equals plus or minus 2.5. Okay, number 9, I want to isolate x squared. So I'm going to first start by adding 8 to both sides, and I get 2x squared equals 8. We want to still isolate the x squared, so I need to divide by 2 on both sides. So I get x squared equals 4, and then to get rid of that little 2, we take the square root of both sides, and we get our answer to be x equals plus or minus 2. And lastly, number 10, I want to isolate this x squared term. So I'm going to start by adding 4 to both sides. And I get 1/2 x to the second equals 4. And then the tricky one here, to get rid of 1/2, we are going to multiply both sides by 2. So I get x squared equals 8. And then to get rid of the little 2 there, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And we get that x is approximately plus or minus 2.83. Okay, so round it to the nearest hundredth there. Don't forget the plus or minus symbol in front of these answers. If you have questions on these first 10 problems, please come see me.